Hi, it's Holly Carroll. I'm really excited for my second episode on the Jessica Fury podcast. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you watch it. Excited to show you guys our vulnerability side.
Welcome back to the podcast. Today we have Holly Carroll back on the podcast, and she is here actually because she wants to talk about her new book that she's a new best-selling author, Closing Deals and Heals, the untold story of a woman's rise in real estate, vulnerability, victory, and the power of belief. Holly, welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This is so nice that we were able to do this.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
So grateful, yes.
So if you guys haven't heard Holly's first episode, it's episode 11, and it's so nice to have you here because from that time, which was about a year and a half ago to now, like everything is so different. And I was telling you that I went to my first Kabbalah class last week, and you asked what that is. And it's like Jewish mysticism. And I'm like getting really into it just because I really like it. I like this. So I went to a class last week with one of my girlfriends, and one of my girlfriends. So then I started listening to the guy who's like one of the leaders. I started listening to him on like different podcasts right before this. And one of my girlfriends last week was like, "Oh, so he's my coach. I work with him regularly. His wife is Mary Ruth." So I've been using liquid. This is not a plug, but I've been using, but people do ask me all the time about like, I take these vitamins and I only take like liquid vitamins. I do Symbiotica and I do Mary Ruth.
Okay.
And people have really asked me to change your hair. So
her hair is beautiful, by the way.
That's why you need to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because then you can watch us on YouTube. Right. So my friend says, her husband is David, like, I don't know his last name. It's like David G, we'll just say.
Okay.
Put it in. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. But anyway, so my friend was like, yeah, Mary Ruth is his wife. And I was like, really? So I use this woman's vitamins for about 2 years now. I sent her a DM last week, and I have to read it to you.
Yep.
I said, I have to share a synchronistic story. I've been using your vitamins for a couple of years now. One of my girlfriends took me to Kabbalah 1 class here in Beverly Hills. After, she sent me a video on manifesting miracles. That's when I learned about you and the service your husband provides to the Kabbalah community. And I'm so grateful about your family and just the hope that they provided. And she responded back to me. And I wanted to start right off the bat for 2 things that brings you into this, which is like, you are a person that really believes in synchronicities.
It's actually, we can take it one further. It's called the Bridge of Incidents. So what the Bridge of Incidents is, I mean, we were talking on the phone before I got here, right before I flew out here, and we were talking about you maybe even getting like sponsorships or whatever. Or we were just like, you know, just talking and just like being our future selves, believing in our future selves and talking, right? And it's no surprise that this kind of started happening, or you're noticing it more now. So like all of these opportunities and all of these people that know each other, they're out there. And you're just putting yourself out there again, like the podcast, all of the things that's happened. Like, by the way, just stop right there. I'm so unbelievably proud of you for just like continuing to show up, continuing to be like you. And I know it's been really, really hard, and we can get into that, or we can't, whatever you want to do. But I know it's been so hard for you. So the fact that you're going out there, going to Kabbalah class, like reaching out to this girl, like talking about all that stuff, like that's the ticket right there.
But, you know, I appreciate you saying that. Like, you know, we were talking about this the other day. Like, I speak about this not openly, but semi-openly. Like, I am in the thick of it, like the thick of the hard, like in it, like just. And I said this to you on the phone the other day, and I was like, I feel like I'm a poker player, and I need to look up on ChatGPT like how to play a shitty hand,
right?
Like how to play the card that you're being dealt,
right?
Like, and I did it. I went into ChatGPT and I said, how do you play the card that you've been dealt?
Right.
It gives you like all these tangible tools. And it's like, how do you play the card that you were dealt when you were going through that really, really tough time that you started to quote unquote isolate to write that book?
Right. Like, I mean, it's not comparable, but I've definitely went through one of the hardest, I want to say growth stages of my life this winter. And I went in pure isolation. And the thing about pure isolation is you have to face it. There's no numbing. There's no, going out with people or, you know, hiding from yourself. Like I had to face myself. I had to face the breakup yet again. I had to face, the urges that I had to go back to my past version of myself. Like it all came up. And so I decided that instead of going back to the old version of myself or going back to or having a pity party, that I was going to lean into the hard. I was going to lean into the discomfort and I was going to power through. And I wrote the book out of it. And I think that's why the book's getting so much good publicity and good feedback is because I was so honest.
But putting like the book and the time that you wrote it aside,
Yep.
I want a little bit more specific because we listen to these podcasts and we listen to these motivational speakers, which you do. You do a lot of like motivational speaking, and you did it at Forum. Is that we're so driven to listen to a lot of these motivations, but the underlying thing is like the work. And as we're listening to these things, and myself included, I get so much motivation, more of the challenge and the overcoming, not the end result. It's the overcoming. So when you were in this pure isolation, what is something more specifically that you did? Because I believe, based off of my situation that's going on right now, is like I have these tools. And if I didn't have these tools, I wouldn't be sitting in the studio right now recording. I'd probably be sitting in either padded walls
with a straight jacket,
exactly,
trying to get out.
like seriously,
A couple thoughts for straight jacket myself. You know what? I'm going to be honest. I wasn't, I did give in to a couple of times, in the book. I did talk about this as, my vice is alcohol. And we even talked about this on the first episode that I was on. And, I didn't want to go there, but I did. I went on a 3-day bender. I went to the liquor store and, I drank for 3 days and I thought it was going to make it better. I thought it was going to help me write the book. That weird stuff that your brain says, oh yeah, you deserve one, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to lie. I actually did give in to some of the thoughts that, aren't exactly good for you. And I went through it and I came out of it even more raw and more real. One of my biggest things was writing. Like I wrote it all down, whether it was good or bad. I wrote all the thoughts down and, they weren't always good. But when I saw the master list of good thoughts and bad thoughts, I was like, let's choose again. Like I even woke up this morning because I'm here on the trip by myself. I woke up this morning like, okay, what am I even doing? Like, am I doing the right thing? Like, am I really promoting this book or am I just like, on this pipe dream? And I was just like, wait a second. Like, why would I even, succumb to those thoughts? Like, think again and like choose another thought. Mm-hmm. I obviously talked to my higher power a lot. I got down on my hands and knees and prayed. Mm-hmm. Like I really did, like on my hands and knees, So that was very, very helpful. Just like talking to people like you too is very, very helpful. Mm-hmm. Like, and relating to the struggles. Mm-hmm.
I go to Al-Anon and I say that openly because I am in service in so many different, there's so much I'm in service to. And going back to the Kabbalah thing, I'll bring that up in a second. Yep. But in Al-Anon, they say, like, I'm not responsible for my first thought, but I'm responsible for my second thought and my first action.
Oh, I love that.
And it's like, okay, so I was texting someone last night and I was like, you have a choice right now. Like, you have a choice. The choice is either I refeed the same thought that's running. And listen, I had a therapy session yesterday that I booked like last minute. I was like, I don't go to weekly therapy, but I texted him and I was like, I need to talk today. Yep. Like this, I need today. And he was like, fear lies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, I need you to write that down, Jessica. And then false evidence what?
Appearing real.
Yeah. Appearing real. Yeah. Thank you. So it's like fear. But it's like that responsibility. It's hard to break certain habits of like making a choice, like choosing a different thought, because we become so comfortable in these patterns. But we can like break patterns.
Absolutely. Neuroplasticity. We can break the patterns. And, you know, most people wait till they feel good to do things that make them feel good. It's like, it's the other way around.
Did it feel good when you were drinking for 3 days?
Yeah, for a second it did.
And what does it bring? Like, what is that thing it brings up for you when you're in that space?
What it does is it numbs, right? So all the things that were coming up were too scary to face. The breakup again, the imposter syndrome, like no one's going to write this book, all those negative thoughts. So I got to turn it off for 3 days. But the problem is turning it off is not going to fix it. Right.
Would you just wake up and I'm like, I'm going to stop drinking? Did you feel in like such shit in your body that you're like, this is not what I actually thought the outcome was going to be by drinking?
Right. And I heard this so many times that when you're about to step into your next level, so for example, I feel like you are literally going to be this powerful woman because of everything that happened and the way that you're moving through it. It's like the horrible things have happened to you, but you're actually making the best of it. But I've heard this before, like when you're about to step into your next level self, your old self tries to pull you back, right? So that was my old self being like, wait a second, Holly, don't you want to be this Holly still? And it was so powerful that I gave in, but I didn't need to give in. And I'm not going to give in again. Well, hopefully, but it wasn't the outcome that I thought it was. In fact, it was worse. Like the 3-day bender, if anyone's been on one, it's not good. It's not good at all. And I'm laughing, but really.
I think we have to do those things.
I know.
Like, I think that we have to do those things because if we don't, then we wouldn't be able to speak about it. Right. Like, I think that there's only so much, like, quote unquote, like, always on your game, always positive, always like I think that in order for you to continue to overcome yourself and just evolve based off of where you're at, I think that you have to have those moments. And like, you know, for such a long time, I've always considered myself a spiritual person since I've been like a teenager. And you said like, oh, I hit my knees, and I have a podcast and I talk about real estate, and real estate is one of the most fucking challenging. Like, it is not pretty. Like, it is hard. It's challenging. It's really, really tough.
Yeah.
Like, it's really tough. So, you know, and the reason I bring up spirituality is because I've always thought I was a spiritual person until I actually realized that in order for me to be spiritual, I have to be willing to let go of all the outcomes of things that I want to control. And that is the hardest thing. And like, something I heard last week that an agent shared with me that I found to be incredibly powerful is that she started to pray for being in service to others and herself, and of being of maximum service to others. And like, I heard this by another person that I listened to their podcast, and it's like, where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say? And to who? Yeah. And like, you were telling me on the phone that like, you were like, business was really tough. So now you have like, you want to write this book. You're trying to write this book. You went on this bender. You probably felt like shit after. And it's like, and business is like not producing the way that you want it to be. And now as an agent, how do you take that challenge? That's like, how do you take that challenge and continue to just believe that business is going to open up? Like, what do you do?
Well, there's two big things: complete delusion, belief in delusion, and just never giving up. Like, honestly, never giving up. Like, the future Holly, the multimillionaire Holly, she gets up in a different way. And as much as the other Holly tries to creep in, like, I still think from that end result, you know, and I still keep showing up. Like you said, business has been very, very hard for 2 years. Like, that's real. But that doesn't mean I'm not a really great realtor or a really great
Mm-hmm.
businesswoman or someone that's making an impact, you know? So sometimes I don't pay attention to my bank account. Sometimes I don't pay attention to, you know, any of the negative stuff, you know? Like, in a way, I have to obviously see what I can afford, but,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I just don't pay attention to it. And I'm in pure delusion. And I have faith that it will all work out.
And like, what is it that you kept doing? You kept waking up doing cold calls, expired, like events, email blast. Like, what is it that specifically that you kept waking up and doing? Like door knocking, like what was that?
It wasn't actually. There wasn't anything that's tangible that I consistently did, but I kept showing up as me, like the future self. So, you know, I kept going to the office like that, even if there was nothing to do. You know, I kept showing up like that. Like I doubled down on my belief in myself. I doubled down on the self-talk. You know, I doubled down on just any opportunity that arise. So the Kabbalah, like I would go to these things, like, you know, and just show up as that person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you do that so well.
Thank you.
Like you do that so well. Like somebody said that to me like 2 weeks ago. But I do have something that I always do.
Okay.
No matter how I'm feeling. And I heard this once before, and I'll take partial credit.
Okay.
I need to take like more credit, but I'm only going to take partial credit. I always am dressed on point.
Yep. You are.
Always. Like you cannot take my emotion and turn it into like, if I'm like not in a space, like there are sometimes like shit hits the fan right before and it's more of like me just crying right before I have to leave the door. And I was like, I don't care. I'll take 5 extra minutes, 7 extra minutes, 10 extra minutes, 15 extra minutes to get an outfit together. And that's it.
That's kind of what the book's about. It's like closing deals in heels. It's not about actually putting on heels. It's about putting on that outfit, that belief, that like energy that makes you want to be your future self, right? It's that energy. Like when your fit is on point, you feel a little bit better.
But what I notice every time I do that, I connect because like my intention is to always create connections with other agents. Like it's never about like, everyone look at me, even though everybody look at me. You know, it's always about, you know, it's like, it's always about somebody is doing the business that I want to do.
Yep.
And I want to make a connection to them.
Yep.
Like when I like made a connection to like Drew Fenton and like he remembers me, it means so much to me. Like he remembered me, gave me his assistant's contact to reach out to him for a listing. Like it's like those tiny little things that for me, for somebody who's like newer-ish in the business, it means so much to my confidence, my self-esteem. So it's like, I believe that no matter where you are in your business, and maybe it's just a personal thing that I just do that really well of like making a connection to a person. And I want you to speak on this is like, I don't actually care about, like, I have this thing that I'm like, I actually don't care about getting something from them. Like, I don't care. Yes, would I want them to be on my podcast? Fuck yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Like, are you kidding me? Of course.
But the podcast is going to be successful regardless.
You're so sweet.
Yeah.
But it's more of like, I don't have like an energy of like, I need something for you in order for me to be something.
That's good.
Like, I think it's, I've learned to just be like, I don't really like care. And I've been like really like reading about that more. And like, how do you, like, you're so good at like showing up just like how you are. And like, even at Forum, you're like, I was like, oh my God, like I know Holly and she's the only person that has a giant cardboard cutout of herself. Like, nope, nobody else gets like a cardboard
Except for like LeBron James.
I was just saying Mike Tyson.
Tyson. Okay. It's similar
But
converse.
like, you see like a challenge. You see like something that's in your way in the outside world.
Yeah.
And you have something inside of you very specifically that makes, no matter what it is, that really makes you do those things.
Right.
What is it?
It's the little Holly that we're fighting for here. It's that future self, right? And I never want to miss an opportunity. So I make a big deal out of everything,
Mhm.
like everything, like B-roll behind the scenes, like whatever it might be, the giant cardboard cutout. Like I will
Love it.
never miss an opportunity to make it big. And I think I learned that from my mom. Like, this podcast is going to be a big deal. Everyone's going to hear about this. You know what I mean? My trip to LA, everyone's going to hear about it. Like the whole deal, I make such a big deal out of it.
So you almost like make a big deal about yourself,
Right.
without carrying like this big ego of
Right.
like, you almost like put balloons up at your open house or like invite everyone for cupcakes, even though you're not really a good cupcake maker. You're just like, you're just
It's
like,
true.
come have cupcakes.
It's so true though. And like it works. I was listening to like 5 best things to say to yourself in the morning. And it's like, I am the best. And most people would be like, oh, she's the best. But it's like, I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else, but I'm the best me. So I'm showing up with a cardboard cutout. I'm showing up with so much life that like, this is the best podcast I've ever done. You know what I mean? And it works.
Well, I thought about that yesterday. I thought about that, or yesterday or 2 days ago, we were talking about the podcast and like you were giving me some tips and I was like, oh, it's like, and even like ChatGPT like spit something out for me. And I said this exact thing. I said, well, no, ChatGPT, total credit, said, I have a growing podcast. And right now you seem like you would be such a good fit for where the podcast is going. And I was like, really? I was like, really? I was like, ChatGPT is my new best friend. I know that Christian's probably been telling me for 2 years to use ChatGPT. I live under a rock. Self-published book. Tell me about this.
I self-published from scratch the entire thing, and I self-promoted the entire thing.
How much did it cost? For someone who wants to someone who wants to self-promote or the first thought, and not to cut you off, is
no,
I can't because I can't afford it.
Right.
So
it is way cheaper to self-publish. I think it cost me in total $250, maybe. I will add a little bit of self-plug is that if you buy the book, it's on Amazon.com. The first 50 people that buy the book will get a free self-publishing from scratch mastermind. Okay, so I'm actually going to put this all in a mastermind class.
Amazing.
But just like as a quickie, ChatGPT helped me a lot. Like, how do I self-publish a book? Like, literally just ask the internet, period. But it's funny. I became an author before I started writing. So I decided that I was going to write this book, and I moved in that frequency and that energy. So I noticed things come up, like the Kabbalah, like the liquid vitamins. I noticed things came up. I was at a retreat, had nothing to do with writing, but I ended up sitting beside a guy who just self-published a book. Like, that is real stuff. That was because my energy was, I want to learn more about being a self-publishing author, right? So it's actually easier than you think. And so is everything else.
How did you get to be a bestseller then? Because my first thought, and maybe somebody else is thinking about it, where it's like, oh, well, what about the New York Times bestsellers list? What about the Wall Street Journal bestsellers list?
Yep.
What is like?
So there's different categories, of course, and there's different stipulations to be in each category. I became bestseller on Amazon. And again, ChatGPT.
Listen, I get it.
We don't even need the podcast.
I have an amazing tip, but I'm waiting for it. You'll love it.
No, please share.
Go ahead. So I learned this by the Mary Roots thing is like, so Amazon is very easy to be successful if you have a product. Most people they only purchase on the first 2 pages. So if you get people that are purchasing the book or the water or the scrunchie within a certain duration of time and they leave reviews, you get, quote unquote, pushed.
Yep. Exactly.
You can then, yes, spend money on ads. Of course. You can. That's why it says sponsored. But Amazon is a computer. Like, Jeff Bezos is not sitting there sitting there being like, well, no, he would. She's beautiful. She's tall. She was a model. You check all the boxes why you should be on that best-selling list, but even for the
Right.
success of your book in a year from now, and somebody decides they want to have a real estate business, they're going to type real estate books, and your book is going to continue to show up.
Right. And you're right. There's different categories that you can put in. And when you publish the book on Kindle Direct Publishing, there's categories that you would choose. And so you choose the right categories to move to the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you wrote it. How long did it take you to write the book?
So I wrote the first chapter, which is the juiciest chapter.
Ooh, tell me why.
3 years ago. I'll tell you why. 3 years ago at a women's writing retreat. And I thought that I was going to write the book for a different reason. And I thought the book was going to be a different type of book. And then this writing retreat was so beautiful that I ended up just like writing a bunch of stuff. And then I stood up and we all had to share our writing. So I stood up and read the first chapter. And as I was reading it, obviously I was reliving it and tears just flew down my face. And I got through the chapter, but I kind of blacked out. And then everybody stood up and they started cheering. And I was like, oh my God, I guess this is the first chapter. And because it was so vulnerable, I kind of stuffed it away for 3 years. And this winter, I said, I'm going to finish this book once and for all. And I made that choice. And I woke up every morning and wrote and wrote and wrote. Sometimes I'd write from 6 a.m. to like 12 p.m.
That's what you have to do.
That's what you have to do.
That's what Wayne Dyer did.
Right.
That's why he wrote like 20 books or 17 books. He would commit.
Right. And I mean, some people may be, writing a lifelong book and they're healing as they go and they're becoming a different person as they go. I had to become a different person before I published this book. But even going back to like the 3-day bender, there's chapters in there that were never going to be in there. Like in my bender, I messaged my ex-boyfriend and, wanted him back because it was lonely and, it's comfortable. And he said some things to me and that threw me off. But at the same time, I was like, well, maybe I'll lean into that and see what comes out.
That were the truth about something? Were they hurtful?
A little bit of both. A little
Were
bit
you
of
reactive?
both. I mean, I wasn't reactive to him, but I was certainly taken back. One of the things that he said to me was that I lost touch with my feminine side. And I'm not sure if he meant it the same way that I took it. Either way, I was like, okay. And the femininity isn't how you look, right? It's really how you feel and how you flow and how you like receive and all that kind of stuff. But I was like taken back by that, obviously, and sat with that. And that's where that one chapter came in, power of feminine energy.
Feminine energy as like what, like more specifically?
Yeah. So trusting, surrendering, being in flow.
Like it's not physical, like
No, not at all.
more tits, more,
Not at all.
more makeup, like more something like
No.
external. Because that's sometimes like when people hear like
course.
more feminine, they're like, okay, what can I do that brings more eyes or attraction to myself? What do I have to do? And what you're saying, it's like you go internal. And I know that we hear like a lot of times like it's an inside job, it's an inside job. And I get it. Like I get it, but it's like
It really is. I'm becoming a lot more softer too. Because I think I thought before that softness and maybe even feminine energy was weak.
what do you mean soft?
Soft as in just my approach. My approach is like this passionate softness rather than this aggressive.
Well, I appreciate you saying that.
Okay.
I love that you just said that because I just went to go look at a house.
Yep.
That totally at random.
Right.
I ended up going. Totally at random. Reached out to the wife. The husband reached out to me. I went to the house. They'll only sell it off market. Just call me. It's in Beverly Hills. And I spoke to my mentor after. And I sent her a message. And I was like, I just told her about the meeting. And then I said to her, I was like, I noticed something about me. I am not an aggressive agent. Do I need to be an aggressive agent?
No.
I was like, I just sat there, had a conversation. My focus was only on building trust with this person and not being pushy and not being aggressive. And then I asked her, I was like, should I be pushy? Should I be aggressive? What does that look like? And I appreciate you saying that about like getting soft because it's like some people don't want that.
There's so much power in and slow and passionate and soft and feminine. There's so much power in that. And I think that especially in real estate, they sort of teach you to be very aggressive and masculine. And don't get me wrong, there's definitely some times where you should be disciplined and active and action taking and masculine. But if you can find the balance between the two, which was very hard, I think, for me to do when I first started.
I don't know if discipline is masculine. I think when I wake up every single day and like ice roll my face and take like 10 minutes for like skincare and like meditating and do all these things.
Those
like,
are definitely feminine.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like, what do you mean like discipline, like that masculine?
Well, discipline is a little bit more of a masculine word than a feminine word, because the opposite or the feminine word for discipline would be just allow, right? But you can't be too in your feminine and not do anything.
Yeah, like sit at home and rub crystals. Trust me, I think about that too.
But do that too.
I do it with my dog sometimes. I take like a travertine, like a black energy one, and I don't want no, I like put it around her body so she doesn't like bring in any like negativity.
Okay, we need a picture or video of that, please.
Of Paris, yes, I will.
Okay, thank you. I love that. If you got anything from this podcast, please rub crystals on your dog. I'm going home immediately to do that.
Oh my God, I love it. So it sounds like you've been able to cultivate like a lot of patience.
Right.
What is patience to you?
Patience is faith. Period.
So when people will say like with real estate, like be patient,
right.
How do you practice faith?
Oh, well, again, I pray. I change the thought. I believe. I speak to my higher power on a daily basis. Before I came in here, I spent an extra 10 minutes and did a visualization. Like I call in, my guides and my higher power and my intuition. And now's the time to shine. Do a lot of self-talk, inside and outside.
I was working with a coach for a little bit.
Yeah.
And in the first session, I was like, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, Jessica, you may not realize this, but you actually do like a lot of the work. Majority of the work you already do. I was like, I'm sorry, what? And he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, you do the working out, the meditating, the writing, because he knows me. He was on one of the podcasts. So you could check out the episode with Stephen Ross, Doors Open If You Knock. He was on the podcast. But he's like, yeah, you already do all those things. Like you take care of your mind. You actually take time in your day to prioritize that part of your business. And most agents, and he's a real estate coach, he's like, most agents don't do that. They think they wake up and they do calls and knocking for hours. And he's like, yeah, I'm trying to help you have more conversations with people about real estate. Like he wants me to have 50 to 100 conversations a week about real estate. And he's like, you'll get something.
So does this count?
Yes. Actually, it may also count if there's more than 50 to 100.
You're done. You're done. Your quota's done.
So the patience.
Yeah. Patience is faith, like I said. You just have to believe that that everything you do is part of the journey. Like everything you do is coming back to you in a karmic way, right? So in my mind, it's not as important about what you do. It's the energy that you're in when you're doing it.
So who is the book for? Real estate agents, spiritual people, women who want to connect to their feminine energy. Like who is the book for?
So the book,
then
it is actually for everyone. It really is. There's something for everybody. I niched down because that's never really been done before. But the book was actually for little Holly 10 years ago.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. And I'm so glad that you came back to the podcast. I remember, I ask guests 3 questions, but because you've been here before, I have 3 new questions for you.
Okay.
And when we were at Forum, you were like, Jessica, I'm not going to go out tonight because I need to connect to my nighttime routine. And usually I'm all about my morning routine. What is Holly's nighttime routine?
It's similar to the morning routine, really. I I'm very intuitively guided, so I can't give you action steps that I use every single night. I definitely visualize and I definitely meditate. Those are always something that I can put in the toolbox. But I listen to myself and my higher power and be like, what does Holly need? Sometimes it's a walk. Sometimes it's a run. Sometimes it's a full brain dump and writing. Like, it depends on what my body really needs. And sometimes I'll do it and I'll be like, okay, I need a little bit more. Nighttime routine is definitely in my feminine. I spend a lot of time in the mornings and in the evenings in my feminine, and then sort of in the day, more masculine energy, actional steps. But yeah, the nighttime routine is just being with Holly and my higher power.
What is a book that's either inspired you or shifted your perspective? Don't say your own.
Closing Deals and Heels. I'm glad you had to tell me that, because I wasn't going to say that.
I can say that.
Yeah, you can say that. Anything by Wayne Dyer. You know who Wayne Dyer is?
Of course, I just said him before. Of course I do. Yes, I know. I think the one that really, if nobody knows Wayne Dyer's book, it's the first one I would recommend is I Can See Clearly Now.
Wow. Love it. My favorite book that I've read recently is Brianne Wiest, The Mountain Is You. And I've referenced that in the book.
What is it called?
The Mountain Is You.
Brianne Wiest?
Yep.
Okay.
I hope I'm saying that last name correctly, but.
Oh, amazing. What is a most recent lesson that you've learned that continues to challenge you?
Well, it's that the old self will try to call you back, and that even your comfort zone is not that comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I have a friend that says to me, like, get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Right.
Like, I don't have a cold plunge, but I have anxiety.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah. One of my girlfriends was like, you're in real estate, you have anxiety. So I have to do something
right
that is completely different that I normally do. And I don't have a cold plunge. So
have a shower.
Yeah. So I ran the bath
Okay.
in cold water. I set the timer and I sat in the cold water and I just focused on the breath.
Good for you. I love cold
And
plunges.
I waited for the timer to be off. And somebody texted me last night because she was like going through something. And I was like, I told her, do that. Good for you. So it's like getting comfortable with being uncomfortable.
I love cold plunges. It just like, it shows you that you're just a badass, right? And if you can like basically face fear that hard, then real estate's a little bit easier.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's so funny. Where can people find the book? I know where they can find you, but where can people find the book?
Amazon. It's all over the world too. So Amazon.ca.
Is it on
Amazon.com.
Kindle?
It's just Amazon. So you just put in Amazon.
And then you can then get it on Kindle. Kindle?
Yeah, you can get it on. So you can get it on in like a Kindle format, or you can get it paperback or hardback.
Can I tell you to do something?
Yeah.
Do an audiobook.
Yeah, I'm going to.
I hear it's really easy. Mauricio did it. He says it's really easy. Yeah. But because your tone of voice is so powerful.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, because and it's like you know how to come in where it's strong.
Right.
And then you know how to listen. And then you can listen. Then you can like give a suggestion from a place that's like your feminine energy.
Right. And it is about the tone. And I've heard that before, like, don't get somebody else to write your book, especially if it's that kind of book. So that is actually on the to-do list when I get home.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Just hit that subscribe button and I'll see you soon. Thank you.